On number 5, we have product knowledge. Product knowledge is the key for any customer services job. If you're, if your product knowledge is only at 20%, that means you can get only 20% in your quality assurance QA score. But if your product knowledge is 50%, that means you hardly can make 50%. Your product knowledge has to be 100%. Learn about that. If there is some case you come across, if you're talking to a customer, he asks you a question, you are not sure about that question, never ever lie or guess. But you have to probably speak with your trainer or your supervisor or the manager, clarify that thing. This is the only way. Suppose if there are 1,000 different scenarios you might come across. If you're learning about 20 scenarios every day, there's a chance in 50 days you will become close to 100%. But if you are learning about 20%, forgetting about 10% tomorrow, that means you will be back on the same track. You will not be able to come to 100% or close to 100%. Make sure whatever you are learning, grab that knowledge. Try to memorize that knowledge. Try to make sure you don't have to ask the same question again. If there is some new situation coming across the very next day or after a few days, that's fine. You have to again ask the questions, learn about that. This is the only way to learn. Usually there are companies who give you 100% product knowledge before even you go on calls. But there are situations where you can learn stuff theoretically. Whenever you are sitting on calls, you will not have much of the time to deal with the customer. So in that case, if of course you are gonna at least ask those questions again, whatever they explain you in the product knowledge or product training. But make sure, learn everything. It's your product. You have to sit on the station. You have to explain everything to the customer. You need to learn everything before explaining this to, or at least on the call. Try to make sure whatever situation you are coming across, make sure learn about that situation before jumping into next situation. Okay, next number 6, we have upselling. Upselling, there are companies who don't allow you to upsell the other products, but there are companies who want you to sell their additional products. Sometimes there's bonus, sometimes there's none. But for any company to survive in the market, any company to generate a decent amount of revenue, which pays your salary, which pays other people's salary, the rent, everything, so you have to upsell. I mean, if you are selling the other product, that means you are adding some amount in customers in company's revenue. Beside this is also important, there is a possibility that customer did not know about that product and they might need it. So whether if you are not explaining, that means that customer, you're losing a potential customer. But if you are explaining that product to the customer, they might need this product, and this might be the only reason customer will stay with the company for a long time. So you have to make sure whatever other sales available for that project which you are working on, make sure explain customers about those products and upsell for the company and add some revenue. This is also going to give an indication to the management that you are doing an excellent job. You are adding more and more revenue, whether there is a bonus or not. In both cases, you will become a valuable. We have adopting the change in policy very quickly. Customer services job required some changes coming every week, every month, every fortnight, every 15-20 days. So whenever there's a change, that means this probably change going to affect your daily work, because there might be something you have been doing for 2 years. Now company wants you to do the procedures a little bit differently. So in this case, you have to adopt the change quickly. Make sure whatever you have been doing for 2 years, try to forget that procedure and try to adopt the new procedure. And do not make any mistake. When there is a change, That is the time people start making mistakes, which is not good. Make sure keep doing the same good work what you have been doing for some time, but follow the new procedure, follow the new policies. So make sure adopting quickly is another important thing for another reason. People who can adopt quickly are more valuable for the company compared to those people who tend to make mistake when there is some change. If you're adopting quickly, that means you can work in any project, you can work in any customer services company, you can work for any sort of change. I mean, you are a guy who can adopt to new environment, adopt to new policy, adopt to new changes very quickly. That means you can survive or perform better than other people. Have coming up with a solution every time. Yeah, that is not correct. You cannot come up with a solution every time. There are situations where you might don't have any solution for that customer because the customer might be asking for some product, something which you are not providing in that package, or probably other than those packages. But coming up with solution means at least give them options. If they want something, you don't have that package or feature, you have to give them option about the other available packages. You are giving them the solution, but that solution might not be according to their desire, but at least you are giving them some options and they might be able to choose from those options instead of going for exactly the same thing what they were asking. So for example, let me give you an example. I worked in a telephone company, and when customers were calling to get voicemail feature, voicemail itself was around probably $8 or $10. I don't really remember, but that was $8 or $10 a month. So when customers were asking about $8 or $10 package or only voicemail feature, and when I was explaining them about that, they were hesitating to pay that much money. And sometime only because voicemail was a little bit expensive, customer used to say that, hey, I want to get or maybe get services with a telephone company who's providing voicemail at a cheaper rate because your feature is quite expensive. So this is the time where you have to strike, where you have to come up with a solution which will satisfy the customer and which will also give them, they will also stay with the company. So I was giving them a better solution that you can purchase a voicemail answering machine from the market. That answering machine is only one-time investment. You don't have to pay anything monthly. And if you're purchasing the answering machine, attaching that with your telephone, this will not cost you anything other than the one time you're paying for the machine. So the idea is that you have to sell. Of course, you're working for the company. At the same time, retention of that customer is also important because of feature, because of few dollars, or because of few small amount of money. A company cannot afford to lose that customer. So you have to come up with some solution which will explain them, or which at least company can retain that customer as well. Okay, on number 9 we have attentiveness versus reaction time. Being on job, you have to be attentive all the time. Small mistake can cost a lot of money to the company. So being attentive is very important, but at the same time, your reaction time is very small. You're probably gonna get only 2 or 3 seconds to think about a situation and coming up with a solution. You have to be very quick. Now, if you're starting in customer services just now, I don't see that you become a superhuman being in 3 months. This is something which comes with the time, more calls, more experience, more product knowledge, lesser the reaction time. It's a simple math. But you have to work from the day one to achieve that target of 2 or 3 seconds. If you want to give them a solution, answer something within 2 seconds or 3 seconds, that means you need to have 100% on everything. But this is something you have to start practicing from day one. If you start doing that from day one, in few months, you will become excellent. You will start improving. Multitasking is also part of this, because sometimes you have to talk to the customer at the same time. You are writing a note on the account, or opening a trouble ticket, or sending a request to tech team, or doing something, or maybe it's speaking with the provisioning department, or speaking with someone around that. So possibly you're using two or three things at the same time. Possibly you're typing on your laptop or your computer. At the same time, you're talking to the customer. So being attentive is very important, but reaction time is also less. So make sure, start practicing these from day one. With time, you will get better. With time, you will learn more. With time, you will be able to achieve that 2 or 3 second target easily. Number 10, we have ending each call at the highest quality, customer satisfaction, and ending the call at the highest quality. This is very important because you're talking to a customer is asking you a question. Sometimes if you're not explaining them properly, that means you're not giving them good customer services. So ending every call, making sure that whatever customer asks you, you explain them that stuff properly, you explain them everything properly. Is very important. This is the only way to retain the customers. Your one mistake, that means probably one customer will go away. And if the QA department is listening to your call, that means you might end up losing your own job. So make sure if customer is calling you, you are picking up the call. You have to make sure you have to explain them everything properly, give them all the suitable answers, explain the product properly, explain the company policies, whatever customer is asking you. Make sure before ending the call, you know within yourself that you did 100%. And if someone is listening to your call, you will get 100% in the QA score as well. So make sure ending the call, making sure this call was either close to perfect or perfect. Thank you very much for watching today's video. I will try my best to bring more and more suitable topics which will be suitable for customer services and for telemarketing, as we are call center certified training center, and we are giving the training sessions. If you want to contact me, you do have my email address, which will be mentioned at the end of this video. You can also contact me on Skype. And if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so we can keep providing you all the videos. Thank you very much.